So I'm reading from tonight from Fun Home, which is an Alison Bechdel graphic novel. It's the source for a Broadway play, a musical called Fun Home, and that was recently nominated for a Tony. And the challenge itself, when it has been challenged, it's been challenged for pornographic graphic content. It's been labeled garbage in some school districts. And the official challenge is over LGBTQ sexuality themes. So, Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. If The Taming of the Shrew was a harbinger of my parents' later marriage, Henry James's The Portrait of a Lady runs more than a little parallel to their early days together. Isabel Archer, the heroine, leaves America for Europe. She's filled with heady notions about living her life free from provincial convention and constraint. She turns down a number of worthy suitors, but perversely she accepts Gilbert, a cultured, dissipated, and penniless European art collector. My parents made a trip to Paris soon after their wedding to visit an army friend of my father's. My father said, "He's a writer, you'll love him." They had a terrible fight in the car. "Can't you read a simple fucking map?" Later, my mother would learn that Dad and his friend had been lovers, much like Isabel Archer learns that Gilbert had been having an affair all along with the woman who introduced them. But, too good for her own good, Isabel remains with Gilbert, and despite all of her youthful hopes to the contrary, she ends up ground in the very mill of a conventional marriage. In a passport photo taken 8 years later, you can see that my mother's luminous face has gone dull. But it was a thrilling trip for us. In Switzerland, I talked my parents into buying me hiking boots. See, girls wear them. Such freedom from convention was intoxicating, but while our travels widened my scope of thought, I suspect that my parents felt their own was dwindling. Perhaps this was when I cemented the unspoken compact with them that I would never get married, that I would carry on to live the artist's life that they had each left behind. And this is, in fact, what came to pass, but not in the way any of us had expected. It was my realization at 19 that I was a lesbian, and it came about in a manner consistent with my bookish upbringing. It was a revelation not of the flesh, but of the mind. I had been having thoughts since I was 13, when I first learned the word due to its alarming prominence in my dictionary. But now there was another book, a book about people who had completely cast aside their own worries, that elaborated on that definition of what a lesbian was. That first volume led quickly to others. A few days later, I screwed up my courage and I bought one of those books. This book referred to other books, which I sought out in the library, and one day it occurred to me that I could actually look up homosexuality in the card catalog. That's when I found a 4-foot trove in the stacks, which I quickly ran through. And soon I was trolling even the public library, heedless of the risks. My researches were stimulating, but still were solitary. And it became clear I was going to have to leave this academic plane and enter the human fray. I went to a meeting of something called the Gay Union, which I observed in petrified silence. But I thought my mere presence, I felt, had admitted to a public declaration, and I left exhilarated. It was in that tremulous state that I determined to tell my parents. Keeping it from them had started to seem ludicrous. So I did it via letter, a remote medium, but as I have explained, we were sort of that kind of family. My father called after receiving the letter, and he seemed strangely pleased to think I was having some kind of orgy. Mom wouldn't come to the phone, but her return letter arrived a week and a half later. And I suppose as disapproval goes, it was rather mild. She wrote, "I imagine that, if in the long run your choice turns out to be a serious one, I could live with it. But I truly hope that this does not happen. There are dangers that your idealistic outlook seems not to have faced. I know you have absorbed my cynicism regarding romantic love, but surely the same problems of dismay and exploitation will exist in a homosexual relationship." I was devastated reading her letter. Thank you.